Okay, it's recording already. And so,
Welcome to Soul Talk, where I talk from the soul to the soul. This is your host, Aaron Smith. Join us in the leading edge conversation and poetic space that takes you to a higher place. Thank you for joining us today. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
how we doing every day? How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is your host, Aaron Smith. Welcome to Soul Talk, where I talk from the soul to the soul. Today, I have my guest, Erica, here with me virtually. How are you doing today, Erica?
I'm just marvelous as I want to be. How are you?
I am divine. So today we're going to go through a series of questions and just get to know you a little better and see how things have worked out for you on your journey. And so, starting, just tapping into the energy of the day in the traditional order of the show. Today is 10/31/25, traditionally known as Halloween. And so reducing that, that's the energy of 14, which is temperance, which is balancing spirituality with practicality. And if you reduce that, it goes to 5, the hierophant. So we've learned a lot of lessons along the way. So I'm gonna ask
Don't
you a
ignore
series of
that 310
questions.
on the clock because I need 310
310.
because I'm all that and some. Okay. So go ahead. I think it's a filter that got me feeling myself.
Oh man, big yourself up every time. And so today I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'm going to start with this one. Can you take us back to the beginning? When did your spiritual journey truly begin?
When I was made aware of it or when it actually happened and it all made sense when I woke up.
Hmm. We can go levels to it because I've realized that there's different levels of awakenings that we have. We have them all throughout our lives. I remember growing up watching the show The Awakenings, and it showed the
Mhm.
young kids just going through the trials and tribulations that they were having in life and how it connected to them on the spiritual level because they was like it was like a Christian based show. And so from where I am and reflecting on that, I've realized that through life I've had several. So like when we go from our subconscious mind to analytical mind running for at age 7 to 8, that's like one of the first. And then actually it's not from a baby. Teething is actually a form of spiritual
Well,
awakening.
mine came from birth.
Oh, let's go there
So
then. Let's
from the
take it from the
stories
top.
that my mom gave, of course I don't remember, but she said first she told me like you almost killed me, and it wasn't really my fault. She had
Hmm.
kids back to back. That was the
Yeah.
thing. So when I came out the womb, she said I was stuck to her and she flatlined. Right on my way, growing monthly, not yearly. As months went on, I developed severe asthma. I stayed in the hospital, so there was that first initial footprint of me being treated like royalty. I couldn't even go nowhere. I had IVs in my arm. I had the doctors cleaning me up because I couldn't
Hmm.
get up, and I was very young. Everybody came to me, so that was another thing. Like, don't never chase nobody. God didn't even allow me to get used to that. Everybody used to come and check on me. I was hand fed most of the time because I was too weak or I was too hyper because of the steroid they was giving me. Fast forward to my dad started training my voice vocally. He
Hmm.
sang. We'd be in a basement, in the back of the basement with bongo drums and a electric organ. He was
Nice.
training my voice the whole time. He was teaching me breathing techniques to fight the asthma. That happened. Uh, My granddad used to come get me for church every Sunday and Wednesday. And some Saturdays I will be allowed to walk around the corner because that's where the church was to sing. So I'm sitting there eating my junk on the front pew. I probably wasn't even 7 yet. And it's funny that you mentioned that age. I probably was between the ages of 5 and 7.
Hmm.
And I was sitting there, we all eating our junk and I rocking back and forth. And Gritty had just finished the sermon or the prayer, and he saw the tears falling on my fuchsia and black dress. I had that silky hot material on
Oh yeah.
because I was in the choir. And he saw the tears dropping, and he came and grabbed me. He said, whatever your body tell you to do or whatever you feel like doing, you just go with it. Don't worry about how it look. I never knew what he meant, but I had all this super surge of energy and I was just crying. I was crying, but the song was good. The music was
Yeah.
going. The choir kept singing. And Granddad put his arm around me and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but it's happening. So that's when I had my moment with my granddaddy, and it would never change it in my life. I used to always fight like a little boy, jump trees. I mean, jump gates and fight. I fought more boys than I fought girls. Didn't know why I had this aggression, and I used to beat them up. I didn't understand how, but I was too cute to even be. I was cute and didn't know it. Basically,
Hmm.
tell me that. I'm fighting boys. You don't like me because I ain't want my brothers mad at
Basically
me.
a tomboy.
Yeah, I ain't want my brothers mad at me because I saw them fighting boys in the street. Like, now if they hit me, I'ma hurt. So I
Yeah.
used to try and please my brothers and make sure I wasn't fast and all that crazy stuff. That was the one that let me know, like, man, I've been fighting this thing all my life and didn't even know it. Now, when I was made aware of the situation, I got my heart broke. I got my heart broke real bad. And I didn't even know it because I was so used to operating in like whatever that happened. Let me keep going. But God made me feel that moment. And that's when
Form of awakening.
intense. I thought something had came out of me like demonic almost, but it wasn't. Cause I felt like that charge in my, when you playing the game and it's loading for the battery power, I felt
Hmm.
it in my heart. I'm like, oh my God. And I got happy all over again. I'm dancing. I'm just dancing. I'm just dancing.
Mm.
It was wrong. Everything felt so right. I went with it. And that's how I learned to deal with life. And like when I met you, you would give me certain literary moments that made sense with the physical. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
that's what I've been going through. He just made me make sense. So that's why I won't let you go. So there was a few people that came along that dropped jewels through pain or through knowledge that still helped me grow. So I realized with the things that I learned from the textbook, I had already been doing things right. That's when I learned about divine guidance. Like, oh,
Hmm.
all this time and I've been acting a fool. Did you see me when I did that other thing? Like, oh my God, I'm gonna be good now. Because that's how it happened. I ain't trying to be bougie, ain't trying to be stuck up. But when the one that matters can see you, certain stuff you gonna curb. You gonna
Absolutely.
out of respect for what he did that nobody else can do. Whether it's the I am that I am that I am, whatever happened, they showed up. Okay, them.
So let me chime in here. So going back to when you were young and in the church with your granddad, and he was telling you to just go with what you feel. He was teaching you to trust what you are feeling, the energy that you are feeling, and that's the how the spirit moves through you when you connect to God and His energy surges up through you, and that's actually how our emotions, you know, charge us up too. We go with the flow of energy, our energy in motion, the emotions, right? And so that was just teaching you to trust your innate wisdom. And so you say you naturally just started dancing and all of those things. That was like taking it and then transmuting the energy through dance. That was when like the spirit grabs a hold of you.
I
And
couldn't
then
stop. You ain't telling no story. I could not stop. I
yeah,
didn't even want to turn the music off. I danced for 3.5 hours. Everything was soaking wet. I was homeless. I had plenty money though. I didn't get it, but I get it. I wouldn't change it for the world, even though it took me some excruciating pain that was probably supposed to mess with my mental. God turned
hmm,
it around and I went with it. So now when I see sisters out here that's probably at that point, I want to go in and grab them, but I can't because they have to experience what they need to experience. And when they come out of that, then they're ready for me,
yeah,
says the divine. Because
yeah. You
I ain't
can't
grabbing
bypass
nobody ain't
anyone's
assigned to
journey.
me. I'm not gonna divine. I'm not gonna grab no more that because I used to be like, oh, I can help her. I can help her. Like that's not my assignment. Then by the time I get to helping somebody that wasn't my assignment, when the person do come along that is my assignment, I'm tapped out and it's like I'm inadequate and I done let the ancestors down. But oh, that refill so serious when it's supposed to be what it's supposed to be, it's gonna be more than enough.
Oh yeah, ancestors come through like a battery pack, give us the
They scared
energizer
me.
bunny. Just keeps going. It don't run out because that's when the spiritual man take over. You that supernatural power that comes from God directly and the power of the ancestors because we literally are like the answers to our ancestors' prayers.
Mhm.
They went through all that they went through so that we can be here now today. And so
When I
we're
realized how
literally
ruthless
breaking
they
things that
was,
we went through, that they went through. I'm sorry.
when I experienced how ruthless they were, and I experienced that at an early age. When people start doing me wrong in my adult age, I'd be like, stop. I ain't saying it like I'm the coldest man alive. I'm He-Man Hercules. Like, no. Y'all get me to that breaking point. They gonna show up. Just stop. And you ain't gonna be able to handle it. Then you gonna say I'm demonic. I'm gonna
Well,
let it ride. It's
don't
above
worry
me.
about that. People
I
don't
used to worry.
understand how, in the physical, because most people are just used to what they see in front of them,
Hmm.
Mara, the illusion. But even in the physical, you know, biblically it talks about how we're protected, and how we're everybody is aware of their guardian angels, but they're not always aware of the spirit team that come with them. And it literally says that we have an army of angels dispatched to us. For the moment, at those moments when they're needed, they'll intervene. But it's on us to also call them in. But the guardian angel is going to protect us regardless.
Hmm.
And so we're protected in the seen and the unseen.
And from ourselves, because I used to do some crazy stuff. Be like, no, you ain't doing that. Remember, I told you I jumped on the train one day looking for somebody and wasn't nobody outside.
Hmm.
But no,
Well,
when I stagnate my own growth because I know when I got to mix and match with people
mhm.
that may not mean me any good, I still have mercy on them and stay away.
Well, you just gotta can't go ahead of God.
I wasn't
When we
trying to.
do, things don't work out.
I was trying to remove the butt whooping because it's like once the warning label or the warning bell has rung, like, no, I ain't going back over there because y'all gonna jack them people up and they don't even know what they doing. That ain't your
Mm.
problem. That's what they told me. That ain't your problem. They gotta learn just like you did. Yeah, I done got my butt whooped before. That's why I don't play with folks. And I don't want to be played with because I be want to play with folks. But I
Uh,
know for a fact what comes behind it. So I had to humble myself and keep away from those environments. But when those environments found their way to me, have at it. I'm cool now. Because you asking for it. And it's not coming from me.
Well,
I
we
don't
got to
I don't
understand the higher principles of it because we don't know it until we know it. At least in my journey, I
Mhm.
didn't know until a few years ago that how people treat you as their karma and how you treat others as your karma. And so, um, separating yourself and removing these people from our lives is one of the best things that we can do. And then, of course, there's levels of protection that comes in the physical beyond the spiritual.
Yeah, I feel like it's stunning my growth. Though I'm like a super, super empath. I can be extremely upset or extremely sensitive, right?
Mhm. Well, that goes into your Cancerian nature and also how sensitive your soul are. It's like all of the trauma that we've experienced. It creates a sense of hyper awareness where we're
And hyper
always
independent.
hyper vigilance. I'm sorry, hyper vigilance. Where we're always on the lookout for new dangers, and so that actually is how we are. Like our spidey senses are tingling, and that comes from the fight or flight syndrome. But when you start to get more in tune with those gifts, it's actually because your soul is sensitive, and you it's like all of those traumas is like slowly breaking you out of the physical and connecting you more into the spiritual. Because it's like when you have a broken heart, I've heard that you have to keep breaking your heart so that it can fully open so that the light of God can come in and that love can enter, which is the only thing that'll heal it. Because everything in the yeah,
It's one of them same thing make you laugh, make you cry. I don't know.
not in there. Just you got the power cord. Not sorry. Yeah, the same thing that make you laugh can make you cry is that goes into being wise with the choices that we make. I'm sorry, just had a little assistant Jen there out there for a second. So let's move on to the next question. And so the next question was, what beliefs or ideas that you grow up with, and how have they evolved?
Okay, so I started out in the Methodist Episcopal African American, all that good stuff, right? So we barely did it like we like 2 minutes from being Catholic. Uh Everybody had a robe on that was affiliated with the church, had a badge, usher board. Uh, Everything was what we would call stuffy. So when I got older and I would either go to another friend's house or something like that, and I was made to go to church with them too. It was a normal thing. That's how I knew who my friends were. They was cut
Hmm.
from the same cloth. Go to church with them, like, man, y'all get to do this. They running in here like she got cheat on her, laid out on the floor. I was excited. Like, wait a minute, I could feel that. This don't happen in my church. So I started saying, oh, I got my friend. And the flesh of the church got involved with one of the ones I ventured into. And it was like, you Baptist. I'm Baptist and I grew up Methodist all my life.
What do you mean the flesh of the church?
Certain, the big eyes and little U's, they ain't had
Oh,
nothing to do with spirit. But that's what
well,
confused me because I was still impressionable. I was still trying to appease and please those that had come before me because that's how I was taught. You know,
So basically, you were still in the people pleasing phase of your
I
life.
just got out of that not even 10 years ago. And it was by habit. It wasn't even that I was trying to please nobody. I was just built that way because we come from a large family of mostly women.
Hmm.
Most of them were self-made beauticians and barbers. Nobody went and signed the application. Granny made a foundation and we stood on it. I know I did.
Yeah, a lot of our
Daddy didn't
families
do that.
come like that. I know my grandmother was a matriarch as well. We didn't have a patriarchal, at least not in my time. Um, we didn't have a patriarch. We had a matriarch. My grandmother was the leader of the family, and she established and she started her own businesses here on the west side and basically established where we grew up at.
Yeah, see, my grandparents did the same thing. They came from Mississippi. Granny worked at Helene Curtis probably for like 2 years just to get established in Chicago. Then she opened up her own shop. First shop was on Madison. Then she went to Chicago Avenue. She got beat up and robbed before, all that good stuff. But um, they both ran it up until 2020 something. They both just died in this 2020 era. So we've had them all our life. And I'm sitting up here like, what y'all want me to do now? Because I ain't following nobody. And this is
Okay.
why I developed that mindset of independence and what people would say, who she thinks she is. Baby, who granny taught me to be born and bred and I added my own little razzle dazzle to it. Why you want to change me? Just get away if it's too much. But if you like it, come a little closer. Let me talk to you.
And so breaking more, so I'm basically hearing you say that it evolved. The way that you carried yourself is what evolved from being in a servant role or what people wanted you to be and the roles that were laid out for you, basically to coming into your own as an
It was
adult
more
and
so,
what was right for you.
walking the road that was already paved.
Hmm.
Um, I hadn't yet put my blood, sweat, and tears in it, but I was still incorporated in that road. Um, I'm trying to stay positive. Yeah, like I said, my grandparents both just passed away in their 90s.
Rest in peace. Condolences to
That's on
them.
my mom's side. On my dad's side, my grandfather is still alive. My grandmother has passed on as well. My grandmother passed on around the time my dad did. So it was like I lost two each time.
Hmm.
And now I'm looking at it like, okay, I need you because I don't trust nobody else like this. Everybody that I knew loved me without second guess. Even my mom, first husband's parents. You couldn't tell me they were my grandparents. I didn't even know we only had two and two. I had three and three. What are you talking about? So when I
Grandparents.
started walking that walk, I incorporated everything that they instilled in me, my three and three, not my two and
So
two.
you had your grandparents, great grandparents, and great great grandparents all at the same time.
Oh yeah, I had all that, but them three and three that I'm telling you about, I got an older brother and sister that has a different father.
Okay,
But we
that
all
makes sense.
congregated and loved on each other. I didn't know that they weren't my grandparents, but they still are. So you gonna have to fight me.
Ain't nobody
Even
mad.
even though they have passed on, like my sister's grandfather, Londo Woodhouse, may God rest his soul and bless his soul. That man got more pictures of me than my own bloodline. You can't tell me they ain't related to me. And like I said, you said we gonna have to fight.
So would you say your beliefs of what family is evolved in?
My beliefs of what family is at this moment has passed on. I'm gonna just say that. Now, what I would do with my own personal life is carry on what they instilled in me, moving forward with the people that are left to love on, and that's gonna love on me back. It ain't that many, so I got plenty.
Hmm.
I got plenty, but I'm not. If you can't carry on the good aspects of what we learned and what was instilled in us from our awesome foundation without adding their personal, what is the word? So you got your leadership and your guidance, right?
Hmm.
Then you got that personal, the personal preference. A lot of people took personal preferences and spilled it into the leadership and guidance. Like, oh, I ain't got to listen to nothing you say. Like, bro, that foundation was there for a reason. And they're going to come back to it no matter how
Well,
they cut the cheese.
one thing that I learned about when you start speaking on foundations, a lot of the foundations that we came to understand growing up as children were
Most
not
of it was built on a lie, but I'm talking
was
about the
built on
emotional.
false foundations, and so that's why a lot of those things in our lives fell apart because they have to be built on something solid.
No, I'm talking about when you sit with your babe or your kid and you look in their eyes and you feel nothing but love. That part, that genuine part, that part that
Mhm.
drives you to make sure you do best or do right by them or you want the best for them. And it should be that way on the flip side, or you show them by you doing this way, it's gonna come back to you. But a lot of people do stuff from a conditional standpoint. Like just because you gave me some water, that don't mean I ain't gonna be thirsty later. Or just because I got all the water, that don't mean you ain't gotta go find your own water and learn how to, scoop it up for somebody else. Because if I keep giving you water, you ain't paying it forward to nobody else. You just sitting there receiving. Ain't
Mhm.
no service coming out of you. After a while, I ain't
No,
gonna be able to get none out of you. But
that's
the I,
depleting yourself, and so when your cup is not being refilled, you just depleting yourself. You can't give from an empty cup. You have to give from overflow, and a lot of the generations before us, they were just focused on survival. A lot of our grandparents, parents, and their parents didn't have the emotional availability for us, and so that's
they had all pure
um,
hustle, blood, sweat, and tears. But the ones like our parents that survived that aspect of it, and then our grandparents laid the foundation for them to have it easier.
yeah.
They got stuck in that, I'm gonna say 4D. They got
That's not
stuck in
even
it.
four. That's three.
I'm just calling it that. They got stuck in the in between. They didn't evolve with us. Like I'm learning from my son now. That way I can evolve as the world evolves. Because what we
Hmm.
learned,
Yeah.
it's almost done phased out.
See, that's what I learned this years ago when I was still um, in church, that the generational gap, the differences between the generations, the older generations didn't listen to the young, and the younger generations, well, not I
Tried to
won't say
change the
all of us,
blueprint.
because I was one of the ones that I used to always hang out with older people. My mom used to always take me around her friends, and so my grandmother's friend, he was like a mentor to me. He had a furniture store on Avenue, and I would go there after school, and so I would listen to his wisdom, and so we bridged that gap by, creating a connection with the youth, reaching back and giving them the wisdom that we have at this point. And so, not everybody subscribe to that in our communities and in different aspects of our life. There are gatekeepers that just hold on to information and just use it for the benefit of themselves instead of spreading it out like they're supposed to. And that's
Is it
one
me
of the
or
things that harm not only families but our communities.
is it me or do it feel like they really still gatekeeping for real? But them the
I
ones
mean,
that left too. Them the
even
ones that
heaven, I
left.
realized I've learned that even heaven has gatekeepers, but it's more so for sacred reasons. With
Yeah,
some
I don't want to
information, if
ruin
it's
your walk,
given,
so I can't
yes,
tell you
and you
everything. I had
can't,
to let you
yeah,
walk through. I get that part.
you can't
But if
rob a
you set a
person of the
trap up
journey
for
of
me,
discovery.
if you set a trap up for me, right? Or say, for instance, an ally of yours, because I ain't been here that long to have allies yet. The ally set a trap for you, but they can't get you, so they come and get somebody close to you that don't know about the system and the program that's been set forth. Why wouldn't you, as my brother, either go and head it off and chop it off? Because you know I don't know nothing about it. I ain't walked that way. But it's coming to me because of you. Why wouldn't you chop it off so I wouldn't be afflicted by it? Instead of letting me go through it saying, oh, it's better her than me. You don't got no
Mm.
love for me. So I'm looking at both of y'all like ops now.
Well, now you're talking about a whole different world. You're
Sound
talking
like
about a
sacrifice,
more
don't it?
well, it's that, but at the same time, young Jesus said it in one of his songs. We don't teach them mistakes; we let the cops do it. And so people will watch you make mistakes
Yeah, that's sacrifice.
because I can't really say
They
what the
hoping you fail.
mentality is, because if I understood that mentality, that mean that I would be like them. But so I don't,
Well,
because my heart is set up differently. But I can say that I've experienced the same thing. I've had people watch me make all the mistakes in the books, but like what God says, what the devil meant to harm you, God will
God will
use for
use
your
it for good.
benefit.
Hmm.
It'll be for the good of you. And
Well,
so
see, that's when you get to be
hold
called.
on, wait
I'm
a second.
sorry.
So
You know I can't
this
help
is
myself.
where you have to be able as a person to take those experiences and reflect on them and then look at how they've developed you and how you've become stronger, wiser, and even more resilient from it. I just shared with a young student here yesterday that you can tell the level of initiation you're being called to by by the trials that you're facing in your life. And so it goes back to Job. You know, he can have you considered my servant Job, and then do everything except take his life. And so when we have a higher calling in our life, and we don't understand this when we're younger, and so but as
And
we start getting
sometimes when we
closer to
older
God,
too.
say it again.
Even when we get older, sometimes I didn't understand a lot until I met you. I knew
Mm.
I was going through something. But
Well,
yeah,
I said something last year on one of the reels that I made. You don't always understand the assignment until it's made clear, because sometimes God keeps us in confusion, or it's not clear for us because his purpose is being played out in our lives and not us on our personal, our thinking. So it's breaking us out of our thinking and trust, and not trusting, but it's teaching us to trust him and his guidance. Like you said, the guidance that you had already become used to, now it's just leaning you more into trusting that guidance, which ultimately leads you back to trusting yourself.
well, see, this is why God, and I said this on a previous podcast with Devin. This is what I meant by I was cloaked. I didn't cloak me. I ain't know nothing about it. God was
Yeah.
still doing the divine direction or whatever, because he know by me knowing who God is, and I can wholeheartedly say it. That's why I get my butt whooped worse than other people, because I know I've had that walk and that talk and that hug and that love. God be saying, like, now you know better. Yes, I do. He know I'm radical though. Ain't none of them
Yeah.
be scared of, because I already know he got me. That's why I don't try not to do nothing stupid and out of the ordinary. But the impulse that I can't ignore, my dark side can't ignore, won't ignore, because it's an utter violation of what I stand for. So at that point, God already know I'm off the meat rack. Cloak, calm her down, put the cover over. He know it.
Well, at the same time, it goes into
It's amazing.
being able to start to. I can't. I'm gonna say it like this, because I have said this a few times in the last over the last couple of days. In life, we experience trauma, right?
Yeah.
And
I
it's
grew up
messed
in
up. But
trauma. I
some of the
thought it was
harsh.
normal, Aaron.
You say what?
I grew up in trauma. I thought it was normal.
I don't know, because we grew up in war zones. Basically, like I can go off of my chart. My MM Coeli is in my third house, which basically says that I grew up in a war zone. I grew up on the west side of Chicago in K Town,
Right.
where it's drive-bys literally had bullets flying over my head. I could have been
Block away from
one of the
Cicero.
kids that died just sitting there watching TV or in the sleep or something like that.
Hmm.
But God's provision and the protection that was over me, pretty sure guided it above me. Because these forces, when you have a divine assignment of your life, there are forces that come against you. And I'm not sitting up here acting like I'm perfect. I'm still human, but at the same time, that spirit man is stronger than this physical man, and that's what we have to lean more into.
Well, see, that's where the 3D get us confused at. Why we get called witches and warlocks and this and that. They got to make it make sense with a title. I don't operate like that. We
Well,
either
that's
love or we
just
don't.
it's the same people, it's those forces that know how mystical and magical this world truly is, that use those forces, and then the ones that use it for the light, they get called out, because a lot of people that do them for dark reasons, that play with dark magic, is a difference between black magic and dark magic.
Hmm.
And so this is a very spiritual world that we live in. A lot of people don't understand
Everything
it
is.
until it's revealed to you. And so it's the ones that do it's the ones that throw rocks and hide their hands. Let's put it that way. Like 50
And I
said, you
can
shouldn't throw
honestly say,
stones
in
if you
their
live in a
defense,
glass house.
let me tell you, in their defense, I've seen some of my family members with the hugest hearts. They got persecuted and beat down so much just for their divinity. Their flesh got weak and they couldn't take it no more, so they succumbed to it. They still have these good hearts. But the moment that trigger hits or that trauma comes back, you're going to see the darkest person you ever seen. Like, wait a minute, I never knew them to be.
Well, that's the duality that we live in. We all have embodied light and dark. The worst person in the world is still capable of loving people. The
Yeah,
best person in the world is still capable of some of the worst atrocities. It's just
yeah.
about how disciplined that person is. And honestly, if you look at all the things that are happening in the world right now, um, you see people that people have held at a high esteem for years. Now, the fallout of the stuff that's been happening behind closed doors,
Hmm.
what's done in the dark will come to light. And so,
That's why I don't hold nothing. If I dug a book out this morning, that's my book and my business.
Hmm.
You will not hold my past to me or my current or my future. It's my walk. I gotta walk. Then between me and God, you think I care about what you think about me?
No, when my grandma told me that I'd be crazy to sit up here and care about what everybody think about me.
Nah, I'll try to keep them
What's
talking.
about being in alignment and in the right and being right with God. Like Lauren Hill said, how you gonna win if you ain't right
You ain't right
within?
with them, yeah.
You have to do the inner work. And so going
And
back
it's
to what
an
I was
everyday
just
thing.
saying about, yeah, it's a daily process. The
Yeah.
only yes, it's a daily thing. We get a every time we wake up, God give us another 24 hours. That means He not
Mhm.
done. What is He still working on? Is He still giving us another chance to make the right choices and to move towards the light versus the darkness? And so some
Yes.
people actually come here for the dark role. You know, the devil works for God. And so all of the trauma and the darkness that's happened in my life has led me closer to God.
I told that lady this our cousin. I don't know why y'all hate the devil so much. He's allowed to do what he does.
Well, I like how Kendrick Lamar. If you listen to the song "Reincarnated" at the end, he says, "I rewrote the devil's story just to bring our power back," because it's
Hmm.
like that's the path of breaking out of the lower self into the higher self. A couple of years ago, 23, when I realized I had came across this book called "Initiate to the Flame," and I realized that that's what was going on in my life at that time. So the Bible talks about the bull and the bull and the ram sacrifice. It's
Hmm.
the breaking out of the lower nature of man. Our carnal self moving into a more. It's the ascension process, the internal ascension process, where we sacrifice our lower natures like lust and greed and envy and all of these lower vibrational entities and ways of being that is actually harming our communities. And some of the stuff that we're talking about comes from this people living in a lower state versus being in a higher state, more closely associated with their divinity.
What was that called? Who was in the Lions Den? David, Daniel.
Daniel was in the lion's
And you
den.
can't, you can't, you can't. It's almost as if, like you said, you mentioned Job,
Hmm.
bringing up Daniel or David and Goliath. You don't wake up and win until you don't fought the fight. Everybody's scared
Hmm.
to fight the fight. No God with you and get in there. Yeah, yeah. That's what I ain't scared of. So if I gotta be crazy for that, get back. Well, I want my deliverance. I want
Well,
my elevation. I want my ascension. So if I got to go real low to get there, let's go. I'm already sure.
no,
I
you
ain't
ain't got to
turning
go
around
low.
because I know what's on
It's
the other side.
It's not even about that because some of these battles are not meant for us. It's like I said, like
Either
a
way,
lot of these are meant for God to fight.
either
And
long I
so
said it. I
when
said I don't care what happens, as long as God get the glory. That's the radical
mm.
part in me. When I told you I got excited when I saw them ladies on the floor rolling around, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I want some. And I knew it wasn't fake though. Like, ain't no way in the world you jerking your body like that and you
Right.
barely walked in here. Ain't no way in the world you twisting and turning like I felt it. I'm just like,
Nah,
oh,
that's the
it's coming.
spirit taking over.
Give me, give me, give me. I'm looking for it. Like, oh, I feel it. Y'all don't feel like got the goosebumps on my arm. They wanted to they wanted to make it filthy or dilute what God can do. No, I saw firsthand. One thing you ain't gonna do is take away my faith because I've seen what God can do. Even if it wasn't for me, I'd have seen it.
Hmm.
When you look at somebody and they take their last breath, and then you get to praying, somebody get to preaching and preaching, and you see that life come back. Man, listen, that thing real. Now,
Yeah.
my search right now, I'm dropping all denominations. I'm picking up all books because there's truth in all of them. So when I say
Hmm.
when a doctrine becomes repetitive, that's what I stick to. On top of what I'm already wise enough to experience through life, from making mistakes and chancing it and what's that? Taking a leap of faith, being the
Yeah.
fool.
Yeah.
It's,
You
you
have
know,
to take the
it's
leap of faith because the leap of faith is taking you from one place to another, and it's one journey going from. So when we have that full energy to take that leap of faith, it's literally like taking a risk on yourself.
I
It's like
hate
the
that they
people
call it fool though.
that we call celebrities. They just bet on themselves and won. And if we
Hmm.
never take those type of risks, we'll never see exactly what we're fully capable of because a lot of people have the fear of success, fear of failure, and this the perfectionist attitude to where it has to be right before they even take the first step
Now I'm guilty of that one.
instead of just
Like my,
doing it. Like Nike
I'm
said, just do
afraid.
it.
I'm the only thing I fear is getting it wrong in the eyes of the divine. Like I've had so much wisdom. I've had so many examples. And that's how I kept from bumping my head and becoming on somebody's list. Because I had a plethora of women to
Mm.
come my way before I became a full-fledged adult. Thank God for that beauty shop. I had a bunch of bona fide women come my way. And they'll give me the rules of the road, or they'll just give me some examples of their own life. Like I know 3 girls said that they dealt with that man while he was drunk. And these is different men, different scenarios, different situations, different women. Dealing with a man in a drunken state, you gonna automatically get whooped one day. That's not him. He's allowing the devil to come and take reign over his whole situation. If he get into that stupor and he feel like being combative, he either gonna love you or he either gonna fight you.
So that's where now we're talking about. It's a post that I came across years ago that talks about the spiritual consequences of alcohol. And when we get intoxicated, our pure soul jettisons, it leaves our body and is connected to a tether. And then the spirit of that wine that you're, that alcohol, that liquor that you're drinking takes over your vessel. And it depends on that spirit. It can be violent, it can be a happy spirit. Some of them just want to dance, some of them, are lustful, and it just depends. And that's why
Yeah.
it's very important to know your limits. And it's not that a person can't enjoy it, but they have to be disciplined enough to know moderation. Because at one point on my journey, I had stopped drinking because it was really harming me. The choices that I was making, the people that I was associated with, was just perpetuating a cycle. I had
Keeping
stopped
you
for quite some
stuck.
time. Even Jesus, made wine for the wedding. It says, "Don't get drunk on too much wine." It doesn't say don't drink. And so a person just really has, it goes back to being disciplined. And again, sacrificing those lower natures of yourself. Because when we are introduced to these substances, drinking, marijuana, these other, um, I say marijuana is a plant. Liquor, it derives from, it's made from different things, but it's something that harms us if we do it, too much of it. It literally kills your liver. It shrinks the brain. Which shrinks your consciousness, which is that divine connection to God, that spirit man that allows his guidance to come through the crown. And so moderation is definitely a key. And so learning that association with booze and the ghoul and how those forces interact, you got to have discipline if you're gonna do that. A lot of people know they self. You have to know yourself. If you know you're not strong enough to do it, then don't do it. And I then trust me, I give more respect to that person than one that doesn't even know that it's a problem that they need to deal with, because an alcoholic doesn't know that it's a problem until they see for themselves, then they'll go to change it. But that's when God intervenes. But it has to be between them and God. We can tell a person any and everything under the sun, but they're not going to listen until they're ready.
Oh,
And it's
baby.
another,
I learned I learned my lesson about giving God business. I just do what he tell me to do now. Because he let me get
yeah.
packed up. Like, didn't I tell you this ain't got nothing to do with you? Go and sit down now. Let's
Mhm.
go.
Let me ask you this: have you ever doubted your path or felt spiritually lost, and what brought you back?
Every day. So it's almost like, can't use that analogy way. I have to check myself before I wreck myself. So I
Mhm.
ain't gonna say every day. When it comes down to self, I overanalyze real bad. I overanalyze self so much to where it has me sitting there still in thought instead of taking some sense of action. And it's not even fear, it's just like, what's the best way? What's the best way to travel? I be thinking so long on the actual road trip till I forget to even get in the car. Tomorrow I'm gonna do it. Now I'm too tired because I done thought for 42 hours on how I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do and still ain't made no decision. And I'm still sitting here when I could have just started and took the left or right twix. Same thing. You're just getting there a different way.
Mm.
But
I've had this. Say that again.
the easiest decision I had to make was a spiritual one.
Mm.
I have been in church all my life. That's why, like to this day, I'm so grateful to my granny and my granddaddy. And my grandmother wasn't even that heavy on it, but she still kept up with the status quo. She wasn't, oh, the Lord said, like my granddaddy was. He wanted Brother Deacon, okay? He used to do that thing. But granny would sit back like I almost cussed, the queen that she is. She would sit back and know what it is. So I had to learn two different aspects of it. But the radicalness I got from my granddaddy. He praised the Lord real quick. At any given time, I have church in my car. I have church in the shower. I ain't worried about making a move. I'm just worried about being around the wrong people while I'm moving. But God still take care of that.
Always. So I heard this sermon talk years ago, Detours to Destiny. It's like when we're in alignment with what God is doing in our lives and then we go off and do our own things. It's like being on the highway. That's that being in alignment with God it represents that highway, but then we take an exit route. We go and we have an experience, which is actually a lesson that our soul needs to learn. And then
Mm,
that lesson will give us some pain, which is a precursor to growth, so to direct us back to God.
I say extra ingredients or extra seasoning because that season
Hmm.
was needed by the time you got to that meat. Meat is being the Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, whoever you decide to call it, because it's all the same purpose. So I
Hmm.
tell people now, whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it be in the dark or in the light, as long as God get the glory, I'm cool with it. And it may look real ugly because you scared to look a certain kind of way. I don't care how it look. The whole point is for God to get the glory. So if I sit back knowing I'm around a bunch of women that don't care for me, but they keep coming my way, because mind you, I don't look for nobody, but they keep coming. God gonna get the glory, and I'm be glad when He do it. But I can't let you destroy me. That's where that divine guidance come in. That it's like, oh girl, I gotta go on home. I don't feel good.
Well,
And it's just me exiting out of a situation before it gets worse. One girl asked me before, how you know to leave and how you know to like, girl, I be watching the elders. I knew she wasn't ready for that spiritual conversation. But
well,
God
most of the
protect the
people
elders.
aren't there yet. When we begin this ascension journey and God grabs a hold of us, people won't understand because they're not in tune. They don't have that same connection. And so they won't understand how you move or why you're doing this or that because it's no different than building an ark when talking about it's going to flood and it's been dry season for 7 years and people just like,
They look
ah,
at that like it's a
crazy.
it's a whole real situation of Tubi. No, it's a
Mm,
parable. And
very
it's an
simple.
extreme.
A guy
But
asked me
like they
yesterday,
said,
"Why did you have your shirt tucked in?" I was asked to dress for a corporate event.
mm,
It's just like people, their mindset is going to dictate how they view you and how they think. People judge you by their own yardstick, so the way that they think you act the same way,
well,
when it's
Aaron,
completely
when we
not
got
that.
ready to do this radio broadcast, I thought you would have had your hair braided to the back with no glasses on and a clean shaven face. Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
We still showed up and we having a broadcast. Like you said, what I thought you was gonna look like, you didn't look like. Why
Hmm.
don't you look like that? Because I wasn't in your head. Now, if you wanted me to do a certain thing, all you had to do was say, "Hey, I need you to put on the button up and put a belt on with a jacket."
Yeah,
That way,
I
I can
mean,
fulfill your needs of whatever you need in me. That way, we can flow. That's the main point. Some people don't like flow. Like, let me
yeah.
disturb the waters because this is what I'm used to. This is how I know how to operate in dysfunction. Everybody don't do that.
Well,
Everybody
that's when you
can't.
start to recognize what feathers are, what flock you are a part of, and then some people don't have the same feathers. Many types
I
of
stopped looking
birds
for that.
but each bird flocks, um, gravitate towards their own. That's why I identify with the eagle. The
Yeah,
eagle
but
is a more of a solitary
mm,
bird. It's
yeah,
also the
because
one that can fly the highest.
I don't look at none of that. Whatever sticks when it get hot, that's who I stick to. And 9 times out of 10, when it get hot, ain't nobody there but me and God.
Well, God puts us in situations where all we have is Him because He's showing us that all we need is Him.
Oh, I knew that.
And at this point, if that's all we have, then life is amazing because everything will be provided. But God, when you're in right alignment with God, God will change the hearts of people too.
I'm gonna tell
And
you what I
so it's some
did though.
things that we go through, and I'm it's things that we go through that ultimately it's meant to bring us in better relation to God, but it has an end too. It's not a lifelong thing. Everything that
Mhm.
has an end has a beginning, has an end in this realm. And so
That's
that
why I take
means
quiet
when
moments and
our
I get.
trials come, that's only going to be for a season or a prolonged season. Remember, 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine.
Hmm. That's why I get nervous as when things start to settle down from a tumultuous situation to a relax. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Something coming around the corner. I know it's coming. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. I'm gonna rest while I can. But the moment you know what hit the fan, I'm gonna be there for it.
Well, that
'Cause
breast
I
is
know He's gonna
also
come get me.
to begin the healing process. And the nervous system is what keeps us in that fight or flight. And that's what keeps us on edge. The hypervigilance again, looking for danger. And once we start to, the next question that I was going to ask is, what role does stillness have play in your life? And
Oh,
so that is the beginning of that journey for me. When I started to meditate regularly, that was the beginning of that healing process for me. When I would sit and just be still, and I thought at the beginning of meditating, I thought the point of it was to control your thoughts. Then I learned it was to
just
become
to
the
release it.
observer.
Mhm.
You begin to
I
witness.
struggled with the still moments until I got to that sound bowl. That sound bowl paralyzed me. And I was like, oh, this not that bad. This not that bad. Through pain, I learned stillness.
Hmm.
Especially if it was something that I wasn't aware of. And I'm like, I know God got me. Like, if I'm gonna go home, I'm cool with it. I ain't finna fight and fuss and get all out. I'm looking around at everybody like, nah, God gonna show up, or I'm gonna be taking a flight to the upper room. I'm cool with it, right? I heard that little voice say, now you fight. I turned and looked, wasn't nobody right there to the 3Ders. Boy, I thought you never say, who? Who? God said I can do it. That's all I wanted. So like Scrappy Doo. He give me the green light, it's over with. And I'm gonna walk and eat every bullet you got just because God said I can. I'm not afraid of pain. I'm not afraid of fear. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of God's denial. That's what I'm afraid of.
What if the exact thing that he's pulling you away from is to show you that he has exact control over that situation too, so you don't have to?
Oh, I know
Now,
he got
the
control.
prepare success is when preparation and opportunity meets. And so, if the assignment is that, then who am I to say? But if he's calling you higher, then why would you feel you have to go low?
No, 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 no. Because see, I learned that parable in church. God don't want to know how far you willing to go. He want to know how low you willing to go. Sometimes you got to be stripped of everything to be rebuilt the proper way. Because your
Goes
foundation
back to
could
those
be jacked up.
foundations.
That's what I mean by how low you willing to go. Are you willing to
Okay.
go to the abyss of your soul where all
Yes.
the material things are gone, all the hydration is gone, and then allow God to fill you up properly with the things you need instead of immoral things, things that are going to destruct you once you get to the heart chakra. I'm gonna say for instance, you got some impurities in your body from the toe up to the heart chakra, and they
Yeah.
could be very small, but over time as you're feeling to and you get to your heart chakra and it's an impurity, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna have an impure heart at that point, a fragmented heart. So when God
Well, it's
fill
not going to
you back up,
operate how it needs. That connection is not going to be pure. It's going to be more of your own understanding than a divine revelation or divine guidance. It's going to be more of that hurt. So in this world, hurt people, and
mm-hmm,
so healed people help to heal people.
yeah, but
And
they
so,
still get hurt in the process of helping to hurt people.
well, that's when
Whew,
we have to learn boundaries. And so
I'm learning that.
boundaries is a very necessary thing because we don't understand these. And so it's the narcissistic energies that have been prevalent, but we don't understand it until we recognize it. It's like standing in front of a red flag. You see it, you can't really see it until you're
You
on
can
the
feel
side
it
of it.
though.
Let that wind change directions. Now you know it's a red flag. Once you know what a red flag look like, you can't fool me once, you can't, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Once you understand what it is, then you learn how to operate and to treat it in, you put it in its place where it deserves in your life, because some of these connections we will have to revisit. Some bridges will be remended, those that are
Mhm.
meant to, but loving a person and these people, separating yourself from the chaos gives you the opportunity to heal yourself and then show up differently. And this literally, you're now becoming a leaden source in your own life. You're going, like you said, back down to the depths of your soul to correct the things that have happened that has brought you there. And some of them are self-inflicted. The choices that we make are based on the information that we have present at the time, the influences in our life, the way that we were brought up, and different things influence those. But once you understand that, well, I had to get to a point in my life where I had to understand that the same thinking that created the problem was not the thinking that was going to help solve the problem. And so you have to open yourself up to even more higher guidance. It's so many levels to it. Just think about it. You mentioned the heart. Let's go back to the crown. The crown chakra is represented by 1,000 petal lotus flower, and as each petal opens, the more light it is allowed to flow in, and with that light becomes that guidance. And so, as you go into this meditation process on that healing journey, as you start to heal, you calm yourself. You learn to. I've healed from complex PTSD, and that's from being traumatized several times throughout my life, continually, even into my adulthood. There's things that still happen these days, but I don't handle them the same because I've learned differently. And so that was going to be one of the questions that I asked as well about your spiritual journey. It says, one second.
We don't have a cutoff time, do we?
Well, no, we got to get out of here by 4.
We got 1 minute.
You got 1 minute.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she'll let me know this time. It says, go ahead and finish what you were saying. I'll find this here.
So this phase before this last spiritual awakening happened, I knew I was a plant. Not a plant like the police, but I was a plant for people to experience or encounter real love. Whether they appreciated it or not, they can't say they didn't get it. These were people I do believe that were profusely asking for someone to love them, or they were tired of being hurt. What they did when I came along, and it was like I had no fight in me to say, I don't know who you think I am. I ain't do none of that. I just accepted whatever they threw down, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
can show them what unconditional love is. Didn't even know what I was doing. But when I figured it out, it's like, okay, God, I see why you gave me all this humility and patience. So I'm dealing with
There we
a
go.
people. I'm dealing with the people that have been hurt to the point where the trauma has them forgetting last week's event, even. You know what I
Trauma
mean? Like
blocks
that's,
out memory.
oh man, I'm dealing with one. What was. It was
So
kind of hard for me. Like, you don't see me? Like, you don't see me from the rest of what you dealing with? Like, how don't you see?
no, not everybody sees you clearly. It's
I
like
get
a
it. I get
rose in
it.
the concrete.
I had to take a step back. You remember I told you that I had to take a step back. Like, let me get to the drawing board so he could see. Because
Yeah,
it wasn't about relations at that time, but it was about a relationship with
exactly.
being self-aware and understanding what self needs, listening to self. The best part of the spiritual journey is learning how to control my heart rhythm.
There we
Learning
go.
that every ounce of oxygen that I breathe in is the true ultimate gift of life. Everything I breathe in from a pure state, it's healing me internally. That's why I don't fool with no medicine. Now, if they tell me I got to take it for this, that, and the third, okay, cool, whatever. I'm flushing it out much as I can. Let me get my lime juice. Let me get all the good stuff because, evidently there was some damage that occurred. I think the hospitals are the body shops, spiritual body shops, depending on whoever you get
Well,
determines your
I
spiritual
can
walk.
attest to that because when my mom went to the hospital, I stayed by her bedside every day. I would go to work, and then the rest of the day, I'm at her bedside. I was asking the doctors all kind of questions. This machine, what is this? This is her oxygen level. What is this? This is her blood pressure. What is this? This is that and that. And so I literally learned it at that
And what
time. I've
that do
forgotten
and
it
why
because
that's
I'm not
like that. Yeah,
familiar
we
with
did
it.
that.
And so the night that I didn't stay by her bedside is the night that she passed. And
You
so
did
I
that
had took
hard.
that in. I took that. I had. I felt like it was my fault for a long
No, I
time.
knew you was
But
beating
then
yourself up.
at the
I
same
knew it. I
time,
knew it. I knew it.
at the same time, when she passed, I was upset at the doctor because I was pissed because I'm like, I see her recovering. How could she go from recovering and then coming out of this thing to now she's no longer here? And so I could agree with that. And, unfortunately, some doctors don't think that, melanated people feel pain. And so they do things and experiment. And that's the unfortunate reality
I'm gonna say
that
in
we
their
have to deal with.
defense,
And it just needs to connect with the right physicians.
first of all, let me clear this up for you right quick. God don't make no mistakes.
No.
God also knew that would have stained your brain. You probably would have never let go and walked out that hospital. First and foremost, He knows us better than we know ourselves because He created us. Number
Hmm.
two, you don't know what your mom told them people because sometimes our people get so um what do you call it when it's just too much pain? They get just pull the plug from me. Please don't let my son see me like this. You don't know what was said. Stop beating yourself up. This is
Oh,
when you
I
go to the
stopped that a long
divine.
time ago.
Right, and you process that differently because I felt like I should have been there when my daddy passed away. He wouldn't have passed away. Who am I think I'm a whole magician, don't
Well, I know one of the last
I?
things that she told me that she was tired, and so
Yeah,
physically and spiritually she was tired.
she probably
But I've
was
learned
holding
a
on
different
just like you.
aspect. I learned a different aspect of crossing over, transitioning, or death. I don't look at it the same. And that question that I was going to ask you was, how has your spiritual journey impacted the way you show up in your relationships, work, and community? And we touched on it a little bit.
So
Let's
I'm gonna need some
elaborate
help
on
with
more.
you on this one because I know I'm wrong, but I don't care.
Mhm.
Um, I try to interact less with people because I know I'm triggered right now. Now that the revelations and all that stuff has come to pass, and I know it wasn't me because I was out here trying to correct my wrong, and I hadn't did nothing wrong, but to somebody else I may have. Right? Nobody had documentation. Nobody had proof or evidence of me being a horrible person, and I went through all of this. All can we cuss on here? I ain't gonna cuss. I ain't gonna cuss. I didn't do nothing wrong, and I got all that. Give me a minute, but I will be back. Yeah. You talking about what? Mistaken identity? No, 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 no. You just want to see what make me tick. Denzel Washington. I'm putting cases on all. I felt like that. But he
And
knew what
so,
he had done. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
now it's like preservation of me. I don't care who looking for me. Because all they want is some of me. When you gonna give me something? And I ain't even looking for it. Probably don't even want it because it's probably tainted. But stop looking for folk to fulfill your own needs. Fulfill somebody else's so you therefore can be fulfilled. Bless somebody else so you can continue to be blessed and live in bliss. They ain't trying to do that. You steady got these fake people that's fake woke, but don't know the flip side to it, to keeping it going, keeping the cycle going. That's just like the drill game. You got to put in it to get some out of it.
well, I learned
That's
this
what they
along the
ain't doing.
way. Um, I've experienced it firsthand where when your pineal gland decalcifies, you begin to have that awakening to where it's opening. There is a phase where you can go back to sleep if you're not
Oh, I
intentional
did
about
it.
continuing in it. And so,
Sheesh.
um, some people just prefer the comforts of this realm versus understanding the benefits of having a spiritual connection. And that's between them and God. You can't change them. The
I
main
know.
thing
I
that
don't like reckless
that
people.
you
Just
can
because you
do.
haven't elevated, who
Hmm.
are you to try and dictate where I can and can't? Or let me pause you for a minute because I ain't there yet. That's you. That's on you. That's on
Well,
you. You
no
can't stop
one
my
can
ascension.
take no one can take anyone's position. And
You
so this
can't
is the
say they don't
mentality
try, Aaron.
that is harming our community as well. That it also needs to be healed from within, and it goes into that person with the individual responsibility of healing their trauma. Again, we deal with trauma. It's a harsh reality, but it's the individual responsibility for the person to be disciplined enough and to want to change. If a person has that relationship with God, once God gets your attention and you lock in with him, everything changes. But when he
Yeah, but you
moves,
see,
that's
like
when that's when you're putting yourself at harm's way.
even with me and you, when we first met, you had supreme patience with me. I mean, ultimate patience. I've had that with other people that tried to kill me. So how far I'm supposed to go with this patience thing? Because at some point, God gonna be like, you know that thing I gave you, you could have used it. You could have used your intuition. You knew when they weren't ready, and you just could walk away and bow out gracefully. So it's like it's some people now that I really want to congregate with and be around. I.e., a lot of people at Illinois media, but it's like I don't want my energy tampered with no more. So I'd rather not.
So this is where you now continue to go into stillness because you recognize that there is more healing that's needed, and you
Mhm.
connect to the right people that can help you with that. You have
And I can't
boundaries for
dictate
those.
who else is
You
gonna
have
be in the room.
boundaries for those that are difficult. And the more you evolve, you learn to show up differently with them. I mean, it's no different from me. This
I ain't
journey
here.
hasn't been
No, stop lying.
without its uphill battles. In fact, being the age of 42, I recognize that I'm in the same position as Jackie Robinson.
I'm 42 as well. That's the number
Exactly.
8. So we still
No,
moving
six.
forward.
That's a six. And so
That's
that's
right.
more 42 is six.
Oh,
Four and two.
yeah.
And
Oh,
so
my
that's
bad.
that's a nurturing.
I mean, Russian.
That's the energy of more nurturing energy for six and balanced. And so, I've learned to show up way more balanced and handling negative situations with ease because the work that I put into myself. Because in my younger years, I had a short temper. Somebody would say something to
Mhm.
me, I'd pop right back off. I mean, my clapback is still there, but it's more in a humorous way. I don't have to get disrespectful with a person in order to correct them. Most
Okay.
people are so used to the bravado that it's just like it says in the Bible that a calm answer turns away wrath. You
Yeah.
know, if you match energy, then it's going to be chaos.
Not
It's
when it's
no different.
deliberate though.
It's at the same time when you have the ability to regulate your emotions. No one had so people narcissists thrive on being able to trigger people because they know that at that point they're in more control of
They're
you
in
than
control.
you
Yeah.
are of yourself. And so when you go in and like from this is be what just 2005, we're almost in 2006. This is almost 5 years that I've been meditating consistently, and so I can see the fruit of that. And so you have to continue along that journey because that is will heal you. You said seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, all these things will be added to you. Jesus, Yeshua told you that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and so you have to go within. Lauren Hill said, "How
See,
you
I
gonna
didn't
win?
learn
You ain't
none of
right
that until
within."
I got away from the church. Not I didn't learn nothing about internals. You know,
Yeah,
you go to the
because
altar and you pray.
no
You pay
disrespect,
your
but that
tithes
is
every month.
they teach
No,
you.
you won't get up off my church folk now. You talking about
No,
no disrespect. I know you finna
no,
come
it's no
heavy.
disrespect. No, I have to look. I'm going to tell you the truth. They
I
can
know
only
your
tell
story.
you based on what they are operating in
Hmm.
and from. Milk for men. What to say? Milk for babes, meat for men. Not everybody is ready for the meat. Not everybody has done the work to understand the meat. It says that the Bereans were of more noble characters because they did their own research. They weren't just going off of, hearsay. A lot of
Hmm.
people just go, receive, get that good feeling, and leave.
Well, see, like
Go
I just
back
told
to the
you,
regular scheduled program.
by me doing
And
hair
so
is where I got all my doctrine from at the beauty shop. I ain't want to sit in no church.
let God have his way, is what I just heard. When people surrender their ego and allow God's divine will to guide them, that's when things change. And even when we receive this peace that surpasses all understanding and the divine guidance, it doesn't stop the things from happening. It just
That's where I
gives
got
you
caught up at.
the
Like, God, just
ability to handle them in a way that's more associated with how God would handle it, and that you become the example that God is trying to show people how they can operate. And by that example, that person will look and they'll see that it's something that they need to change within themselves. But some people will get triggered by that and it'll make them angry. Some people will get it and they will do the right thing. But it's not up to you. All you have to do is show up in the upright. That's it. Light your
so
light,
how do you
sit it on the hill.
how would you handle a situation? Well, like you said, keep your same tone. Don't let nobody get you out of character, basically. But like the persistent ones, they got their whole crew, and I've encountered this. I've worked at CTA. I've encountered this on so many different levels. And see, I'm used to being in a controlled environment. I worked in my granny salon for 19 years on Chicago Avenue.
Hmm.
So I'm used to a controlled environment because they didn't want no smoke from granny, not me. They
Yeah,
knew
because
coming in there they had to be in the upright.
established, when the parents and the grandparents, establish, there's a reputation and there's things that come with that. It's,
Right. So
it's a
I
whole
had to
different,
uphold that.
it's more of a social thing than the personal thing. And so there's social orders that need to be kept.
Hmm. So I grew up in that. And it's like now when I see maybe it be one of my peers or we're out. And
Hmm.
I ain't knocking nobody for nothing that they do, but you get a little too much out while we outside. You're not coming outside with me no more because it's a certain way I like to be viewed. I'm not gonna be fighting no negative narratives. And then it's like when I didn't go anywhere and I still had a negative narrative over my head, I said, "Oh, people gonna say and do what they want. I might well just let it go." I'm learning. I'm definitely learning.
You can't control what somebody else thinks of you. I heard somebody said this literally, that it's not your business what other people think of you.
Hmm.
And I'm at the point to where people can think whatever they want. I know who I am, and I will continue to go back to the best man. The guy, he completely fell in love with the illusion, the fantasy that the stripper was selling. You know what I'm saying, at the bachelor party.
Right.
And then he literally walked her downstairs, and she was like, "Honey, that was just a fantasy. I was just working. This is not who I am. I'm a college student, blah, blah, blah." And then he was like, "Oh," it finally hit him. He realized it. And then he went back to a quote that he heard. And I forgot who it was. Could have been Helen Keller, but I have to, do a research on that movie to research the quote. But the quote that he recited was, "You have to define yourself for yourself.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you'll be crushed into other people's fantasy of you and eaten alive." And
So
so that is where that comes from. As long as you know what you are doing is right and you are right with God, then what does it matter?
I don't want to waste my time in the wrong space now.
Well, that's where boundaries come in, and you
Yeah, that's
separate
where I'm at
yourself.
now.
And so this is astrocartography is what I've learned. It teaches you from your natal chart places on the planet that are more in a harmonic resonance for a beneficial environment for you to be in, because you've heard the term product of your environment, right? your
Hmm.
your environment can cause illnesses too, because the dis-ease that is there is not a harmony, it's not in harmony with your energy. As we grow and evolve, you vibrate higher. In a denser energy, you have to constantly protect your energy, which does this. You
Hmm.
can do this, but it's doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's doing
That
this. When you
gravitational
in the
pull.
when you in yeah, the polarity.
Hmm.
When you're in an environment that supports you energetically, take off.
Man, and I ain't found that yet. I ain't even
Well,
gonna lie to you.
you got to continue to can trust the journey,
I
continue to
am.
go
I'm healing
within,
right now
seek that guidance.
from soul siphoning, energy, not soul
Mm.
siphoning, energy siphoning, and spiritual prowling. I'm gonna say that because God won't let them touch.
Energy vampires. I'm just
Yeah,
say it. Energy vampires.
I'm healing from that right now, and it's like I don't want to get back out there yet until I'm fully like I up here know mentally that I can handle whatever comes because I know it's gonna come. It don't never stop.
It does. It
But
does.
I'm still,
It's everything that has a beginning has an end. Every storm has a silver lining.
yeah, but we know in this crazy world, soon as you get through healing, and they lose the dark side, lose the battle after you heal, and you come back out, they healing right now. The moment you right there about to peak, like, oh, she about to get where we don't want to go. Here we come. I
No,
gotta stop getting distracted on that part.
excuse me. Mm, that just came out of nowhere.
Because I honestly feel like, oh, well, evidently I ain't supposed to be here. Everybody allowing this crap to happen, and I know I ain't the only one with eyes that can see.
Shift your perspective on it.
Oh, it's hard because I still got that little nigga baby in me.
Well, it doesn't matter. We
It
come from where we
does
come
because she
from.
ruthless. I don't want to see her
This
in
is
my
what
new
I
beginning.
mean. This is what I mean. Our shadow serves us in a higher purpose too, but
Damn right.
the shadow and the ego both have to be submitted to God's purpose and His will and elevated to match the higher self. That's the personal trinity: the
I'm
ego,
sensitive. Did I
the
tell you
higher
that?
self, and our shadow self.
Did I
And
tell you
so,
how sensitive
shadow
I
work.
was?
It doesn't matter how sensitive you are. I understand that. One, you're a Cancer. Two, you're an empath, and so you have a very sensitive soul, and so you're meant to
Stop
be
telling.
that way.
I'm a
You're that.
Sag.
It doesn't. You're a Sag, but you have Cancer. Okay,
That ain't
the
nobody
Cancer
business.
placements,
That ain't nobody business. No.
the placements, the
Mm.
water. That represents the vessel, how you show
That's
up in the
my
world.
friend.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that's also that sensitive nature. The Sag is a free spirit.
It
And
is. So just think when I get upset, that water and that fire rising at the same time. It's like lava, liquid lava. I
lean
don't like.
towards your grounded nature.
So you saying I should just let it fly and then let God sift through the rubble?
I'm not saying let anything fly. You
Oh, okay,
correct.
cause baby,
You correct.
challenge.
You correct.
No, I know
So
the destruction of my dark side, and it don't take all that to get God's
so
will across.
let me
So
tell you like this: the enemy can't destroy you. He wants
no,
you to
I know
destroy
that.
yourself. So you gonna do
Mhm.
his work for him? Nah.
Now he gonna throw me
Rise
away though. He
above it
threw me
all.
away before. He don't know what to do with me. I don't care nothing about what the enemy say. He don't know what to do with me.
And
He's
so
shown me on multiple
this
occasions.
is where I'm leading you to now. The final frontier is the enemy within. You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
defeat that part of yourself that is self-sabotaging.
I like her the way she is. I was waiting on the
It's a
world to get used to
difference.
her. That's why I started going on
It's the
social media.
difference between that's the lower shadow. The elevated shadow does what it does when it needs to, where that doesn't harm you or others.
What's the point of the shadow then? She might well walk in the light if it ain't harming nobody.
Hmm. If we get that final assignment, just like that lady that called and had to do things
You
the
see
way
my
that she
eye?
did
Look.
things, then
You see that?
as I say, it's
My
not for
eye
me to
got an
say.
eyebrow. Do you see it?
Continue on the healing journey. Don't let the things that. So, Abraham Hicks says it this way: we have to experience the contrast in order to truly know what we desire. This is a world of polarity. We live in a polarized world. There's polarities. There's no high without low. There's no left without right. There's no up without down. There's no back without forward. There's no right without wrong. And so you experience all of the contrast so that you can better focus on and bring into alignment the things that you desire. But if you focus on just the polarity of the negative, then that's what you will get. Where energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows. Faith and fear cannot work at the same time. Whichever wolf you feed, the wolf of fear or the wolf of faith, will win the battle.
That's why they don't like me because I love me and I be in the mirror all the time. So
That
the
mustard
energy
seed.
come. Mm,
And
baby.
we're not here to be liked. We're here on assignment and fulfill our purpose. To be
I was
liked, people will like us and love us.
This is why I be trying to get people to do the inner workings so they can find the love within themselves that I found in me. Because at one point I
Hmm.
was them. So I would be a whole fool to attack them when I once was there at one point.
Hmm.
I just wish it all made sense. And like somebody else said, like everybody not gonna wake up at the
Mm.
same time. And I
So
get it.
this is one. Whew.
Don't be acting like this heavy.
No, it is because learn to test the spirit. Test the spirit of the person that you're dealing with. And then you'll know how to decide, you'll know how to deal with them. And if they show, because people show up with masked energies all the time. I mean, we wear many roles in this life. People are there, they have to, so you have a job. Your job has requirements that you need to perform this way to sustain that job and to be a part of that organization. And so if you act as you act in your comfort at home, it could cause you to lose that job. There's a time and a place for everything.
Hmm.
And so, the same way your job has regulations, God has regulations, and He
Hmm.
gives us ways to handle these things. You learn to test that spirit. And then
Okay,
once you
so
recognize the spirit, I just had this experience literally yesterday. I'm not going to, give details, but I had to get very stern and show up in a very authoritative way to handle the situation when my
and they
nature
bow
is
down
normally
quickly.
very, very calm.
When I test
It
the
wasn't
spirit,
any choice because once I gave the correction, no more attention was added, and then that person removed themselves from the situation.
mhm,
And I didn't have to get out of my body. It's just
I just
standing
get out
in
the
that
way.
authority.
Because I
Well,
used to allow people to like go low with they darkness. Like, ooh, when God get through with you, all I gotta do is walk away and it's gonna be on.
yeah, because
So
how they
I've
treat you is
tested
their
the
karma.
spirit on multiple levels. I've tested the spirit with my absence, like getting
Hmm.
away from the situation so God can take care of it. I say a little prayer and keep on going. I've tested the spirit by allowing that shadow to come out, being opposite of this nice person that I've been to you, because that's who I choose and that's who I feel like you deserve right now in this life, according to the divine. Because I would have
Hmm.
been spazzed out. When that other side kicks in, you know what I get? And then my empathetic side immediately kick in, like, dang, I done scared them. Forget what they was
That's
doing to
because
me
the
though.
heart of that you have is more connected to the divine than theirs, and so they have to facilitate that connection for themselves.
I hated my heart for a long time.
You can't.
Like, why is my heart so dumb? I know what
It's a
they doing. I
treasure.
see what they're doing.
It's a
Like,
gift.
why do you let me keep doing this? Like, you gonna get tired in a minute. And I realize you keep bumping your head on that brick wall. So I'm gonna kick in and say, just move your head from the brick wall and use something soft since you want to keep doing this. Like,
Ask,
oh,
what are you teaching me in this moment?
I said, oh, if I keep going this way, my feet and my neck can go anywhere I wanted to, and the body gonna follow. Why do I keep doing it? Boop. Oh, then I keep on telling them, like, you better stop. Like, won't you make it stop? You the one can't handle it. They enjoying it. Like, oh, let me move in. I mean, you ain't gonna come back? No.
Let's
Wrap it
let's
up.
continue this in another
Part
episode.
two.
It
Yeah.
has been
Awesome.
definitely a pleasure to have you here on Soul Talk.
Educational.
Very much so.
Inspirational.
And so we're both sharing, and the center is God, which should be the center of all of our world. by
Yeah.
divine order as God, us, and then everyone else. And so keep God first, everything else will work out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Excuse me. We get so caught up because we've been taught that it has to look a certain way. One thing that I love about Steve Harvey, he said, "Don't trip. He ain't through with me yet."
Hmm. Well, I
It's a
learned to embrace being
process.
perfectly imperfect. Because who am I to say what
I'm a
God
perfect
created
imperfection.
is not perfect? It may not be perfect in your eyes, but I love me. Every ounce, every flaw,
You were
every
created
everything.
the way that you were for you to reach the people that he needed you to reach. Same way
Now
for
I got to
me.
get outside because I can't reach them in the house.
Well, continue to heal, and you're already doing it. Trust me.
I
The
know
way that you show up, when you are show up as your high, all you have to do is show up as your highest self every day.
it's
Everything
scary,
else will take
but I
care of
don't have to
itself.
scare people. They
Mm.
fear what they don't understand. It's not that I come in like a big bad monster. Either they fear what they don't understand or they fear what they have done. Well, she gonna get revenge. I'm not a revengeful person, but you better start talking to God.
Well, people judge you by their own understanding, their own yardstick, and so
Mhm.
I've had that play out several times in my life.
Yeah, I don't
But
get vengeance.
we can't focus on that.
Even like
Let God have His
we
way.
gonna have to just do a regular segment. Um because it's a lot. It's a lot and it's actually healing. I feel something going on right here in the back of my head.
Mm,
Um
you're receiving
something
something.
is releasing. Something is releasing. But it's okay. Um to God be the glory. And I'm gonna
Hey.
stay on this path. I just need to know when I can get the green light because I'm ready to go outside.
All things in due time.
Yeah, my
And
birthday coming
so,
up. I'm going outside. You see that thing? My spidey senses. You don't see that, Mom? Thank God for the blur.
thank
Big
you
forehead,
again.
little girl. All
I
right. Thank you
appreciate
for
you and
having
all
me,
the
Aaron.
energy that you've brought. And just stay your bright, bubbly self. We're
I
going to
ain't got no
continue. This
excuse.
has been another amazing episode of Soul Talk. And this is one of many segments that I will have Sister Eric here on Soul Talk. See you soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.